The impact of the recent political results of election campaign in Turkey are actually on the tourism industry is actually very interesting. And if you try to envisage what kind of influence these political events will have on the tourism industry, you have to actually look at the short period, short-term and long-term impacts. As far as the short-term impacts, I guess that the majority of European potential tourists who favor Turkey and who are visiting Turkey for the past 10 years in growing numbers will be quite intimidated by the result. It seems that Turkey has a problem of image, a political, religious image that the new government will have to deal with. It will have to convince the potential tourists that the situation in Turkey, and especially the tourist enclaves, are still safe, welcoming, and that Turkey is ready to accept Western tourists despite the norms, values brought into a new kind of political scene and a new kind of social situation, new norms, Western norms, that in many cases are not that acceptable. In the long term, I guess that the situation will calm down as far as European tourism into Turkey, and people will resume traveling to this country simply because it's still cheap. It's still cheap in terms of the cost of a holiday package in euros. It's still very attractive in terms of the countryside as well as the seaside. And the capacity of hotel rooms waiting for so many tourists is enormous. And as a result, even if in the short term the demand decreases, in the long term, because of cost and because of availability of facilities, tourists will resume traveling to Turkey. This obviously, or this picture is obviously, it might change as a result of actual activities and implementation of new policies as far as religion, as far as Islam is perceived or will be perceived by the new government, and the way it will implement its new policies as far as the tourism industry is concerned. My view is that because the government is so heavily invested into tourism infrastructure, because Turkey needs the foreign currency, income from tourism in terms of GDP is highly important in this country. I assume that the government will ease its religious policies towards Islam as far as this industry is concerned. So in the short term, because of uncertainty, some kind of decline in inbound tourist flows to the country, but in the long term, business as usual.